Oh boy, it's nearly E3 2019 and I'm very excited. And I know a lot of you are as well. But we all know that besides the amazing games that we will see and the totally not cringy presentations.
What up, guys? You guys didn't know Need for Speed Payback. I got my boy Marcus, executive producer here. He is the producer on the game. Thank you, Nick, for having me.
Hey man, thanks Jesse.
Well, yeah. There will also be some games that look very good and promising, but once they release are not as much fun as you thought. So I want to take a step back to 2018 and look at these games. The games where you thought, damn, this is going to be heckin' fun, but turned out to be meh or even straight up bad. Maybe we will even learn something to avoid these types of games coming year. Not all these games were first announced at the previous E3, but were shown off there and released in between then and now. A quick disclaimer before we start. If you do like any of the games that I will mention, that's perfectly fine. Even more kudos to you. Tastes are always different and what one person hates can be loved by the next. I'm just going on an overall consensus between gamers, so please don't go hating on me if I trash talk your baby. We cool? Oh, and if you know a disappointment from last year's E3 that I missed, be sure to mention it in the comments. With all of that out of the way, let's piss some people off. Let's immediately start with the Big Daddy, Anthem. Yes, people were already skeptical. The game looks amazing, but we all know EA, and we all know what they did to other great games that had potential. So by still believing in that this cool mech suit Iron Man looking game would be great, you took the wrong gamble, my friend. The game is out 3 months now and it already seems that the player base is completely gone. In the beginning the game was making headlines, but for the wrong reasons. Like these recent ones about Anthem's Twitter even being dead. Or what about it being one of the least played games on Xbox One? In the beginning the game was crashing PS4 consoles, and even the Reddit community is turning against the game. When you turn your own Reddit community against you, you have made a really sucky game, or at least a sucky service. People want their money back, but they can't because of EA's policy and the use of the gas model, which essentially means games as a service. By this model you sign an agreement beforehand where EA will implement an ongoing revenue model, while they have the right to change all the services or even shut down the whole game without any repercussions. That's one bad situation to be in. But hey, the game still might be savable. I don't think so, but it might. A game that wasn't that bad but just more disappointing was Crackdown 3. Of course, following the two generally more successful games Crackdown and Crackdown 2, the third iteration tries to go further on the old formula. Being a cool futuristic cop that can glide through the air, pick up stuff, throw around criminals, just be a badass in general. But the problem is, it sticks too much to the old formula. It doesn't really improve on the older games, which just leaves you with a mediocre campaign, a choppy aiming system, and not too much incentive to keep on playing. Like I said, this isn't a bad game, but it doesn't keep you hooked like other games that came out this year might do. The game had a rocky development process to begin with. It was already announced at E3 2014, after which it saw numerous changes with a switch in game director. The game was also supposed to be developed by a company called CloudGen. These guys developed the software which would make it possible for a world that could completely be destroyed, with physics calculations that are 13 times faster than a standard Xbox One. Wowza! But they got purchased by Epic Games, which in turn took them away from Crackdown 3. A lot of the problems started there, which made the game mediocre at best.
Don't you guys have phones?
And everybody loves the Elder Scrolls, so that would make Elder Scrolls Blades the perfect game, right? Right? Unfortunately, no. Look, it isn't all that bad. For a mobile title, the game is absolutely beautiful. It has a nice progression system, pretty good combat mechanics, and a lot of world building and enemies that you would expect from an Elder Scrolls game. But then again, the damn microtransactions, the freaking paywall, the ultimate cash grab. It seems like companies will never learn. I get why they keep doing it. There are people that like to spend money on that type of game. Where most players like you and me will say, this ain't worth it, on to the next game. The 1% will keep on playing to throw money in Todd Howard's lap. To keep a steady progression in the game, you need to have gems. You need these to open chests, otherwise you have to wait. With these chests there is a chance to get building materials. You need these to upgrade your town. You need to upgrade your town to be able to play certain quests after a certain point, otherwise you can't progress in the game. And gems cost money. You see the problem here? Too many random elements, and the only way to make it less random is to buy gems. And even then you aren't even sure if you get the materials that you need to progress in the game. So yeah, that takes the speed right out of it. Let's stay on Bethesda for a while with Fallout 76. Jesus Christ, I love this trailer. The throwback with the older armor from the original game to the great version of Country Roads.
Younger than the mountains, blowing like the breeze.
Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia.
Well, enough of that. It all looked too good to be true. I also just finished Fallout 4 when this trailer came out, so I was ready to go. But then we got the announcement from our main man Todd.
It's that each of those characters is a real person.
Sorry Todd, what was that? Who is going to give me quests then? I want to do some cool Fallout quests. And yes, that's where one of the first problems starts. You can only get quests from terminals and holotapes, which makes the whole process dull and not memorable at all. But the game has many more problems than that. Bugs, bad AI, unbalanced weapons, cheaters, and a lack of visual appeal. And then again, the death sentence for every big game: microtransactions. So it will not only hurt your heart, but also your wallet. I don't want to keep trashing this game because most of it has already been said, but I do want to mention that there's light on the horizon. They have improved the game significantly since launch. Less lag and frame drops, more quests, and improvements to the crafting system. So I wouldn't write this game off just yet. I was so excited for this game. I have the funnest memories of playing many of the Mario Party titles. The classics on the Nintendo 64, but also the GameCube versions were a lot of fun. Then they took a big nosedive with Mario Party for the Wii U, which wasn't much more than a steaming pile of burned Brussels sprouts. But then we got the exciting announcement at E3 2018. A new party with tons of minigames, characters and fun. And boy was I ready. And although the game starts off strong, you'll quickly learn that it's just a one-trick pony. You only get 3 maps to start off with that you can expand with a whopping amount of 1 extra map. The minigames are fun, but it gets boring pretty quickly as you have to play the same ones over and over again. I also don't understand why it's almost always 4-player minigames instead of 3 versus 1 or 2 versus 2. Whenever it's randomly decided, it seems that it's always a 4-way minigame. You see? Really? Again? What the? Oh, come on! That wasn't a problem with the earlier titles. The characters are fun and varied, but the stars are way too cheap with only 10 coins. Win 1 minigame and you're already in the race for a star. In older Mario Party games, it really meant something to be in the possession of a star, and it could really make or break the game. Now stars are being handed out like hot cookies, and it seems like nothing even matters. I have to admit that the rhythm minigames are fun, but again, it gets boring really quickly. If they would have put the same effort in this as they have done with Mario Tennis with a lot of free DLC, then there would be a much better game that people would still be playing to this day. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But at least Super Mario Party was fun in the beginning. There was one game that they announced for Switch that doesn't even have that honor. Ark Survival Evolved. Look, we already know what's the dealio with this game. Can it be fun? Sure. Is it good? Nah. There was no chance in this holy universe that this game would become a 10/10 game on Switch. It already has a lot of trouble to keep a steady frame rate on PS4 or Xbox One, so Switch was never going to be any better. If you have the sickest PC, it might be a cool game to look at, but Ark Survival Evolved was never a beauty on its own. They probably just wanted to release the game so that they now have it on almost every platform and console available. Which of course means much more big monies for them. I don't blame them. But then to release this game for a whopping $50 at launch is a big slap in the face of the Nintendo audience. There are probably a lot of people that bought this game without the knowledge of what it actually was and how it functions. And to their money I can only say, rest in pizza. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. If you are interested in video games and especially E3, subscribe to this channel right now, because a lot of cool E3 stuff is coming to this channel in the coming weeks. If you like, you can check out one of my other videos on screen right now, and if not, I hope to see you next time.